Delaware Trust Board. This is a special meeting for setting the 2019 trust budgets, and the time is 3:01 p.m. Our secretary, Marilyn Cole, is absent due to illness, and therefore, unless somebody else wants to take minutes and do roll call, I can do that. Is there anybody that wants to other
Do
than
we
me?
have a prayer first?
I'm just discussing who's gonna do this.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
doing it yet.
Okay.
Does anybody else wanna do it instead of me?
Nobody can read my writing, I can't even read my writing.
Okay, well,
I sure can't read mine.
I don't hear anybody just jumping.
We'll let you do it, Mary Jo.
Okay. Let's see. Here's our agenda. Meeting's been called to order. Joe, would you care to give the prayer in the absence of chief? And please add a prayer for Marilyn, if you would.
Creator, I'm coming to you this good winter day like this, Creator. We thank you for this good weather like this, Creator. Creator, I ask you to look after all the ones that's sick and can't be here today. All of our tribal elders that's sick, couldn't come to our lunch program today, Creator. Just look after them and help heal them and get them well like that, Creator. Creator, we thank you for this Mother Earth, what you provide for us here on this earth, Creator. We thank you for all of that. We thank you for the four directions, north, east, south, and west, Creator. Creator, I ask you to look after all of our Delaware people that's in need, that needs anything, Creator. Just ask you to bless them in a special way and take care of them. Creator, I ask you to look after our servicemen and women wherever they might be, Creator. Just bring them back home safely like that, Creator. Creator, I ask you to take care of this trust board and help us to make wise decisions on the best behalf of our Delaware people like that, Creator. In your most heavenly name I pray, amen.
And also pray for healing for our fellow trust board member, Marilyn Cole. Thank you,
I
Joe.
wanted to include everybody, that's why I said if I could do that, you know.
Okay,
But
roll-
especially Marilyn, and I'll keep her in my prayers too.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that. Roll call, Chairman Mary Jo Peterson, present. Roger Stewart, absent. Joe Brooks,
Here?
Holmes Scott,
Here,
John Thomas, absent. Marilyn Cole, absent. Put ill next to hers. Kay Anderson.
Here.
We do have a quorum with 4 members. And we'll sign the roll call. Absence. And welcome our guests. And I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I will make that motion to approve the agenda, but I want to strike some items that's on the agenda.
Okay, which ones
I
would you?
want to strike approval of the minutes.
Uh-huh.
I want to strike
Reports.
reports. I want to strike unfinished business. And I think, no, we haven't already set a date for next meeting, have we? Or did we? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
We set a date for our next meeting, so I want to strike that also.
Okay.
I'll make that in form of a motion with them items scratched off the agenda.
Okay. A second, okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with the changes that Joe noted. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. And we will now proceed to the treasurer's report.
It's not good.
Agree with that?
As of November the 30th, our fair market value was $4,288,812.76. Fair market value as of 12/31 was $4,087,781.13 for a negative $201,031.63. I'm not gonna give it by the committees this time, because everybody's got it in their hand. I think the main thing we're here for is the budget.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So I'm not gonna break it down by the committee. Although I will say that we should allow the committees that has carryover to go ahead and use them funds, because they've already been approved by previous years.
Yes. Oh, I did have a copy of the actual trust document that people all approved, and it says right in there that whenever, one of these areas has a carry forward, that has to stay with that one, you can't be shifting them around. So I agree with you on that, but for instance.
But they all have a line item that says donations,
That's true.
all the committees.
Is there any questions, or can we go ahead and approve the financials pending audit? Is there a motion to do that? Okay.
Dang, no questions, I've got off easy.
Well, we'll get after you when we come to budget.
Okay.
We got a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the December 2018 financials pending audit. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And now we come to the business of our meeting today, the budget. My thoughts on this, looking over the trust document, in the trust document it says specifically, on the page here, under D methodology number 5, the annual earned interest is used to fund the programs and services as presented in this document. Well, according to our handout from Leslie, we had negative earnings, so that tells me that we have no additional funds to
Except
allocate on
carryover.
these programs. So I would say that all the programs that do have carry forwards, that's their budget. This would mean that education has no funds to spend other than what is donated from the other programs to them. Also, tribal operations has no funds to spend.
Which is bad,
Yeah, we don't like to have that.
because the tribe usually use that money. That's how the trust board was paying the accounting department.
Yeah, an indirect cost type
Yeah.
thing. We could pass this as a temporary budget to be revisited, hoping that the market will do better. On the other hand, the trust document says it's from interest earnings.
Is it annual?
The annual earned interest, so it's year by year.
Year by
So
year.
the 2018 funds 2019 programs, and there wasn't any, so. It looks to me like what the carry forward is, that's gonna be the 2019 budget. What does everybody else think about that?
I agree.
Me too.
Okay.
It's a hard thing to have to do. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Now, we may not let the fair market value of the trust funds fall below the 3.8. And currently,
And may still do that.
well,
If we have another month like we did in December, it will do that.
here comes John. John, we start right at 3 because Joe had a place he needed to go later.
You what, Bub?
Well, I'm just saying, we started right at
Roger.
3. Oh, here comes Roger.
Yeah, Roger's done.
Okay.
I had to pick him up and wait till we can
Oh, well, thank you. I will change it from absent to present.
Okay, thank
Then we
you.
Go back and just do a short on the financials, bring them up to date.
Yes.
John and Roger, the trust, once again, did not have a good month. Find what I did with it.
That went down another 200,000.
Yeah, we went from fair market value as of November 30th, 4,288,812.76. Fair market as of December 31st was $4,087,781, or $4,087,781.13, or a negative $201,031.63.
And also, you need to look at the 2017 investment activity, 2018 investment activity that looks like this.
That was not put in the packets.
Oh, okay. So,
But it's
am I the
zero.
only one that has it?
Well, Joe's,
I've got it.
Oh, okay.
but it's zero.
It's actually a negative number for 2018. So what we were saying is that because the trust document states the annual earned interest is used to fund the programs and services as presented in this document, well, there wasn't any in 2018. We have a negative number. Therefore, we're proposing that the budgets for all these programs will be, they can use their carry forward, and that's it. And most of them do have a carry forward, tribal operations does not,
Except education.
and education does not. We also were saying that if the committees chose to do so, they could donate some of their funds to education or tribal operations as they saw fit and as the trust board might approve.
We have, $3,770,000, is that what we have now?
No, we
No.
have,
Fair market
Fair market
values,
value, we had four, is that four?
$4,087,781 fair market value. What you're reading there, John, is just our best asset management. We've also got cash account, office trust fund management account, and trust reinvestment account. So our total fair market value is $4,087,000.
Are we, our disbursement, you're saying that we don't have enough money to disperse to our committees?
We don't have any money
we don't
dispersed to the
have money
committees.
to give them a 2019 budget amounts. All that they can spend is gonna be their carry forward from the previous year, which you can see on this sheet here. Over in the far right hand, it says balance. All of the different programs have a balance except education and tribal operations. So those numbers in that's gonna be their budget for 2019.
It adds up to $97,892.55.
So they do have money to spend, just not nearly what they had last year. And education doesn't have any.
We did give them, disperse 97,000, is that what that means there at the bottom?
No, that means that's how much money they have left that they can spend.
Total between all of the departments.
So, I just try to get it clear here, I'm not a financial guy, you know, wish I was. We're not dispersing any monies for 2019, is that what I'm hearing you say?
No.
Not dispersing any additional funding.
Oh, no, any additional funding?
Yeah.
Right,
means
what they
cultural-
have is what they have.
Cultural preservation can spend $32,300 in 2019. Community services can expend $11,173. Education can't spend anything unless the other committees donate, which they could. Elders can spend $17,007. Veterans can spend $8,800. Tribal operations can't spend anything. We still have that $29,000 in reinvestment. And as far as reinvestment's concerned, I was considering CDs as a safe place for that money, at least temporarily, and it would give better interest than you just leave it set in a cash account. And then Joe had an idea for investment in, what is it?
Canvas stocks,
Yes.
they're going up big time.
Yeah, sure.
But I'd like to see y'all do a little research on it first, as to which
I'm
companies,
interested in that for sure.
as to which companies.
Because most places, you know, once the state introduced it, passed a law in favor of medical, it just skyrocketed.
Oh,
The
it's certainly a
funds
growing
just
business.
It's still
skyrocketed
going up.
in that particular.
All other stocks are falling, the canvas stocks are still going up.
Now, I'm not clear, I'm not clear on, have we already dispersed money for 2019 to all of our programs?
No,
No,
Are we going to?
no,
Oh, well, that's what I want
Only within these amounts
to,
if we
we
pass the
can't
budget.
according to the trust document.
pardon me?
We cannot according to the trust document.
All they can spend is what's in their carry forward. So they can, you know, like cultural preservation can have their stomp dance because they've got funds, or the elders could go on a trip or have a meal or whatever they wanna do.
Why isn't, we're not gonna disperse any money because we have a loss?
Yes.
Because of our losses?
They're not getting new money, they just have to live off of their carry forward for 2019.
We still have enough in here. What is our disbursement to our programs total? 160 something?
Last
If
year,
we give them
year-
new money, if we give them new money for this year, how much would it be?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, I said, and we had the money to give them.
It would depend on what interest that we made for the full year. That's where the trust document comes in. We did not earn any interest and dividends. We lost monies last
Yes, I
year.
understand that. I knew we
So
would.
according
I
to the
knew
trust
we were
document-
gonna lose big
Yeah.
time.
Now, if it had been like
So-
2017, we would've had about 300,000 to disperse, and then you go by the percentages.
Yes,
The 10%, the 20%, and so on. But since we have a negative number here, they gotta just go with what they have in their carry forward.
I know if we still have a fair market value of money at $4 million,
Yes, we can't let that fall below 3.8.
yes.
So we're trying to be cautious here.
And, it won't fall, it won't fall if we kinda like take a time out on this harvest stuff and this stock market, investment. As you know, we're in 28 days of shutdown, there's no end in sight. It's affecting the market. I mentioned this last time and the time before. Cannot trust what's going on in that federal government. Whether it's Democrat, Republicans, this president, it's downhill. We're subject to go into a recession, no doubt about it. The uncertainty of the politics, man, it's just crazy out there. And I don't think we should be investing anything. I mean, in the stock market, that is. It's subject to crash, exactly. But I'm concerned that we still have $4 million in 4,087,000.
Now, what's in our best asset management is not all stocks, and there's also bonds and other.
Yes,
investments in-
Okay, now that stuff we don't really kinda like, we get explained to, we should read and do our homework, I understand that part.
That's why I
It's
thought
on us if we
the
don't.
whole package here, because that was item by item.
And some of it I don't understand, you know, when it's kinda like ABC or DEF or whatever, you know, so much. I don't understand who that is or what it is or anything like that either. But what I'm getting at here, if we could maybe give our programs something.
They have money to spend.
I know they have money to spend, that's their money that they've been keeping,
Yes,
so
and it
they,
stays with them, we don't
Right,
shift that around.
right. Just because they have money don't mean, you know, that's money that what I'm saying is that I think we should give them something.
We can't.
Okay.
We
And-
can't-
Read the trust document.
It's
Brenda.
according to the trust document, we can only give them what the earnings were, and there were no earnings. It'd be nice if we could.
But we can give them out of the 4 million.
No,
We can give
no.
something out of that.
not according to
According
the
to the
trust
trust
document, we
document.
can't.
It's on interest earned for a
Interest and
year.
dividends.
Yeah, I can show you here the trust document.
I think I have one of the trust documents.
Okay, under D, methodology number 5, the annual earned interest is used to fund the programs and services as presented in this document. And then the next page goes into the percentages. So you have to have some interest
Interest
earned.
in order to give our,
Mhm. And it's the whole year's interest and earnings,
Okay.
interest, dividends, earnings, and we don't have any.
I understand that, we don't have that, I understand it, but,
The trust document doesn't allow us to pull money out. And I don't know we wanna do that anyway when we're so close to the 3.8, we need to be
Mhm.
conservative.
okay, I hear that, I agree, if it's in a trust document,
Mhm.
and, then, you know,
That's-
it is what it is.
That's what we have to go by, that's what the
It is
people
what it
voted
is.
and approved. But I understand how you feel, we hate to not fund these programs, because they are all important. I'm just thankful that they do have carry forwards, all except education and tribal operations.
I'm gonna make a motion that we, set no budget till a later date, and that the committees are limited to spending of what their carryover is only.
I'll second that.
Committees limited to carryover. The carryover at 12/31/18, right?
Yes,
Okay, we have a motion that we will not set a budget at this date, however, committees are instructed to limit their expenditures to what their carryover at 12/31/18 was. Do we have a second on that?
I think you should include in that motion, the trust document, whatever it is, that Article 4, whatever that is.
D5?
So that the program, the people can see exactly what we're referring to in a trust document, and whatever that language is.
I'll amend my motion to include that article.
Okay.
Yeah,
As per trust document D5,
so it'd be more explanatory to the committee that's out there,
and
say,
show
well, why
that
are you
we're
doing
going by
it?
the trust document. It's
Yeah,
not
that way they
something we
can see that's under the trust document, where we're
Okay.
restricted.
Okay, as per trust document item D5, no budget until a later date, committees are limited to carry over 12/31/18. Yes,
I got a question on the motion. When you state until a later date, because we're following D5, the later date
later
can
date would
be
be
until
Next year.
2020.
2020, correct?
That's correct.
So this would be for the FY19 calendar year.
Right.
Mhm.
Is it possible, and I don't know if I have the right to ask, but if we could put that within the motion?
I think that would clarify, a later date, sounds like we're gonna.
Yeah, we
budget
can't set a
next month.
budget till next year.
Um,
I'll make that part of my motion also.
No budget until,
As per trust
as per
document.
trust document item D5, no 2019 budget?
Yeah.
No. Okay, and then strike that later date part. As per trust document item D5, there will be no 2019 budget. Committees are limited to their carryover at 12/31/18.
Will you second that, Homer?
Yeah, I'll second
Okay,
You'll change your second also.
okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried unanimously.
I'm gonna go in and tell Mr. Barnes right now, we can't.
He's not here,
He's not here.
he's with Chief.
Oh, education, we can't accept any more applications, period.
My office will be aware of it.
And I'll let him know, and if you figure up the few we approved Monday, I'll get the tribal council to cover that also.
Okay.
Where we'll end up with a zero balance, instead of showing negative, education will end up with a zero balance.
Okay.
Joe, there's another financial item that's not as big a dollar as some of the others, but our trust board stipends, since the programs are going to be limited into what they can spend, and some of them will have no money to spend. I personally would be willing to waive my stipend, but I know I can't speak for everyone else, and I don't know what everyone else's circumstances are. What's everybody else's thoughts about our trust board
It's up to the
stipends?
trust board, whatever y'all wanna do. It's all right with me.
I can't afford to waive mine.
Okay,
Is there money there to pay our stipend?
doesn't it come out of each committee? And so education couldn't contribute its portion.
Or, yeah, if any of the other ones get down.
Mhm.
But for the most part, yes, the 700 every meeting would be divvied up equally
So it-
between the committees,
So it would be.
Between the ones that have money.
yes.
So it's gonna be slightly less than the 100, because education can't contribute their part, is that right?
Make a
Uh,
motion to that effect, Joe.
Now, the reinvestment committee, could we invest a little bit more into the stipends? And so the other programs
I don't
wouldn't have
believe,
to,
I don't believe.
like education
that's a
doesn't have any money
reinvestment.
You
to
mean,
donate?
is what you're asking,
Or the other committees could pick
is
up.
what you're asking,
Those
John?
are said, we had discussed, and I'm sorry for interrupting here,
Oh,
just
that's
jumping
fine.
in. We had discussed the possibility of allowing the committees to donate to the other committees.
Mhm.
I think what John is asking is if it's possible for the reinvestment committee to donate into, say, the education fund in order to cover the full stipend for the year on their share, where none of the other committees are overtaxed to try to get the full stipends for everybody.
Is that,
You can do that, John, but I do it on a monthly basis. In case we do start earning some money,
right,
I wouldn't do it on a yearly
You don't
basis.
wanna make it.
But what you'd be doing is making a donation from reinvestment to the education committee for $100 a month.
Okay, here's what it says in the document about reinvestment. The reinvestment program will provide a continuous growth of the financial reserve and enhance the concept of perpetual funding sources for the Delaware people. The board on an annual basis will reinvest 10% of the annual accumulated interest on the principal amount back into the principal. So we're supposed to put it back into the principal. But putting it back into one of the other committees, I would think would meet that definition. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay, Joe, as treasurer, do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
And I would state a one-time donation to cover the
Okay.
2019 year for the education share of the common costs.
Is it possible if any of the members chose to
I
not
believe-
take it?
Your members should be able to have the right to either accept or deny.
Mhm.
If you do not wish to have one at this time, I think that would be
Okay,
acceptable in my opinion.
and the person that chooses to do that won't get a 1099 for what they did?
For 2019, no. And if at any point in time on that option that the member would like to reinstate their stipend,
Mhm.
then yes, 2019, we would continue on. If you receive the 600 or more, the 1099 would come into play.
Mhm.
I think the trust board should do a vote of yes or no. And I agree with what John said, if he's willing to, if you all on reinvestment are willing to fund the education committee's
I am.
stipend,
yeah, that's what I was thinking about, their stipend
we
part.
can make a motion to that.
Because that way,
For the year, you're
You
only
would have to take
talking,
out some of the other
you're talking
programs.
about $1,200, John. Are you
Yeah.
willing, is you all
And we've
willing
got
to do
29,000,
that?
so.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm
We do the
willing.
1,200 to help
To
with
cover stipends for the
stipends
year?
for
Or
ourselves,
education,
education.
because other committees have money.
They can.
Yeah, the other committees
Yeah,
have
other
money, so we
committees have
just
money.
did. So
You
we,
making that in form of motion?
I'll make that in the form of a motion.
What about tribal operations? They don't contribute to stipends, do they? Because the whole amount goes to the.
No, they don't.
It's all
Okay,
a
so,
one-time payment to the IDC.
okay, let me hear the motion again, please.
Go ahead and you go ahead and make the motion,
Okay,
because you kind of got the principle of, the idea behind it. I'll mess it up.
okay.
Yeah, because you're really investing in our education of our children,
Sure.
Donate
so the
to,
education committee.
Okay, I move that out of the reinvestment carry forward, an amount sufficient to cover board stipends be donated to the education committee on a month-to-month basis as needed.
Yes.
No,
for the 2019 calendar year.
Yes. No. Tell me what I just said.
You made a motion to donate from the reinvestment committee to the education committee on a month-to-month basis, the amount of stipends
Amount of money.
for the board members for the 2019 calendar year.
The amount needed for board member stipends, for trust board member stipends. For 2019 calendar year. Okay, motion is to donate from reinvestment to education committee on a month-to-month basis, the amount needed for trust board member stipends for the 2019 calendar year. That's my motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a second from John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Do we have any-
Now, I will say that if anybody wants to waive their stipend, that's an individual basis. You can go into a county and say, hey, I don't want my stipend.
Yeah, probably just write and sign something, so you have a backup on that.
I can come up with.
And that way it's not like we get the check and donate it back, we just don't get that check.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Is there any further discussion or business on this budget meeting?
Did we make a decision on what we're gonna do with Argus Bank here with this investment in the stocks? Are we going to continue to go forward with that? Do we want to kinda like put a pause in it or recess until we can see what's gonna happen with the stock market?
Well, are you
do we just
saying
do-
you want to take anything that's invested in stocks and pull it out of there? Or-
And put it in some kind of a bond or just
That's a big
whatever?
risk.
Huh?
It
That's
is.
a big risk, because you risk your original investment if you sell now and,
Now when the prices are low,
yeah,
you're
you
gonna
lose
take a
money.
big loss.
Are we gonna take a loss again if the stock market goes down? Are we gonna still take a loss?
You will, but not nearly as bad as if you sold everything now and threw it into a CD money market or
Anyway,
bond.
this is, see, again, I don't understand, you know,
The stock market fluctuates.
I
It does
understand that.
up and down, up and down.
That's their sale, I know that.
But we have so many shares, and if we bought 100 shares at $1 a share, and we turn around today and sell 100 shares at 50 cents a share, we just lost a lot of money. You lost half of your original investment. If you leave it, you still got a good portion of your original investment and the ability for it to go back up. I would suggest selling only if you make it at your original investment amount, to where you're doing a break even, or if any of them are currently high to where you could make a profit off of it. Selling everything just because the stock market's not doing so great the past couple of months,
It's not gonna do any greater in the next couple of months, I guarantee you.
yeah, and I agree.
And, maybe we can do it like this, if we, without taking it all out, I understand that, we don't wanna do that, but maybe we can put it in the stocks that are doing good or less risky.
Well, that's why we have our best asset management. It's not just us picking the
If-
stocks.
if-
They
if-
have people looking at.
If they will, if
If you
whoever
look at this,
contacts them, could contact them and explain exactly, you know, what we can't pay our programs right now. And if we continue to go down this this hole,
if you look at the big statement here, it has sections about, they bought this, they sold this, they bought this, they sold this. They're all the time watching the stock
Uh-huh.
market and they're experts.
I have no problem with Arvis actually, but I do have problems with the stock market. I never did like it.
That's why this isn't all stock market. It's a balanced portfolio.
Okay.
You got some stocks, you got
gotcha.
some bonds.
As a
Different
treasurer of
areas.
the tribe also, I can tell you that the most interest you can get on an 18-month CD is 2.65% on an 18-month CD.
That's a
We
year
just,
and a half.
we just
before you
reinvested
can-
700 and some thousand.
I've looked on the computer on some different stuff and everything, you know, and I've seen saving accounts, you know, where, and I understand what Mr. Scott said, you know, that it might have been a a low-risk bank. But some of these banks isn't low risk that, I've seen where you can get 3 to 5% return
Mhm,
back on your, on your money.
mhm.
And,
Oh,
I know they don't want us
that
to
lately.
leave them, I understand that too, but do we have any kind of professionals that we could call on, or within our tribe? I know that we've got people that's been in the stock market business, investment business, that could maybe kind of, what's out there now, you know, what is out
Probably
there?
did some
Randy.
research.
Cannabis, I like the cannabis.
Randy Bloom is a financial specialist. He searched and searched and searched, and the highest he could find is 2.65 on an 18-month CD.
Is that
He
what
said these
the,
banks are not even wanting to do CDs right now.
Yeah, most of
Because
your
they're
CDs.
afraid they'll lose money on
accounts.
what is the trust funds that we did not get our 50% of? What are they invested in? Remember the trust funds that we were supposed to?
Settlement funds is.
Yeah, settlement funds.
Oh, settlement funds,
Yeah, what is that in?
CDs,
And how much interest are they getting?
on the one we just reinvested, 2.65.
Mhm.
They vary from what, 2.5 to 2.65? I think 2.5's the lowest.
I wanna say it's a little lower than
Is it
that.
lower than that?
Yeah, one and 3/4. They range
vary.
from a 3-month to an 18-month CD.
Mhm.
And the way it's done is he's out researching different banks for different times.
Mhm.
So it's done like a cedar account,
Mhm.
in that it's specific amounts that are being invested in, and most of them have a minimum of 250,000
Mhm.
to invest.
Yeah,
So
we're-
far, the whole,
29,000 wouldn't come anywhere near that.
no,
So we're not gonna get that higher interest rate on
not
29,000.
on
Not on
what
all
we
of
have
it.
to reinvest, no.
We will on the 700 and some thousand we just redid.
Yes, I was gonna say, on the settlement funds, we've run so far with the interest we've been able to get between $3,000 and $6,000 of interest per month.
Mhm.
So we had some loss at the very beginning, but part of that was also the admin fees added into it.
Oh,
And the
sure.
original of being able to invest. They've diversified and gone back through and reinvested in some additional CDs and some money market and mutual funds.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah, it's
is
split up.
yours, but
It's split up.
you're talking a couple of million to actually invest in.
Mhm. Where you're
What
gonna
was
get
it,
better
2,130 some thousand?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
close to 2.2 million.
Well, would you want to check into the cannabis stocks? See what the
Hey.
possibilities are there.
I know Roger did some work in the past.
2 years ago, I proposed this. That I ain't gonna have nothing to do with it.
But it's legal now. 2 years ago,
Yeah, but we
Yes.
were laying the groundwork because we knew it was gonna be legal soon. 2 years, well, it's inside that time limit.
we'll look into it.
So
I'll
you think,
look
it's
into
gonna
it.
quit going up? Is that what you're saying, Roger?
It's gonna level out, yes. Plus,
Well,
But
I'd
how
be
about-
interested to have you look into it.
Yeah, I'll look into it, and maybe, only thing I'm trying to do is stop the bleeding here.
Mhm.
You know, even though
Well,
I
sure, we
mentioned,
would all like to do that.
yeah, even though I mentioned, let's stop this investment in the
United
stock
States
market.
itself would very much like to stop the bleeding. I know several that are sitting in retirement accounts that basically can't afford their groceries this month because they made a extremely bad loss in their stocks, their IRAs, et cetera. So, like I said, the world itself, America is hurting with the stock market doing this bouncing and
Yeah,
crashing.
and there's nothing gonna happen with China either. You know, that's a biggie for, economy, the US economy.
Yeah.
And so like I said, we could get a pause, but it don't even look like we could even get a pause or a timeout.
Yeah.
Because if we
there's a
sell
positive.
everything, then we're gonna be a big loss again,
Yeah.
another big loss.
It's.
What is the loss? What are we looking at here if we sell out?
Well, I don't know, I'd have to go look at the individuals and do the comparison as to what we
Real
bought it for
investment.
and what we could resell it for. It depends on when you actually put in your decision to sell.
Mhm.
So what the market is today isn't what the market's gonna be tomorrow, and it definitely won't give you what it's gonna be next week. So if you sell today at $2, next Wednesday, it may have been $5, where you would have made more money on your original dollar investment. It's a time thing, and it's basically a real-time thing. That market opens every morning, closes every night, and
Well,
changes
at
every
this
day.
time, yeah, I understand, at this time, it's dire, you know, I would just like for us to just set on that 4.3 million that we have, or whatever it is, 4 million. In, and not having a risk attached to it.
But then you accept the losses.
Then we have to accept the loss, I understand that, what she's saying, you know, we pull out or something, but anyway, I guess it's,
Well, and the risk, investment is a risk, period.
yeah.
No matter how you invested or where you invested, you know, you're hoping that you're going to get more
Mhm.
for your money, more bang for your buck. Even with interest rates, you put it in with CDs, you might get it for a couple of months, but all you need is the Federal Reserve to turn around and either up it or lower it, so.
18-month CD's guaranteed.
Yeah, once
For
you get
18
it
months.
solid into your certificates of
Yeah.
deposit, you know, but the risk you have is after, you've gotta wait the 18 months before you pull that money out.
Yeah.
Including the interest,
Yeah.
because it constantly reinvests throughout that year and a half. So if you come in 6 months from now and y'all need any of that money, you are gonna have to pay the penalty for pulling that out. And so your original investment, you just chalked out a couple of $1,000s, you know, $15,000 out of a $250,000 deposit to pull the money out early. It's like being my age and investing in my IRA. I can't touch it until I reach my late 60s or 70s. Because tax-wise, they're gonna eat me on the taxes, they're gonna eat me if I pull it out early. You know, they're gonna take part of it, and I've invested penny and penny and penny and penny. It's all
They
mine.
take more than part of it. I made
Yeah.
that mistake one time.
So
I know the stock market is probably taking a lot of it right now,
Yeah,
your 401.
the stocks, some of the, like I said, your certificates of deposits are more solid as far as an investment. You're talking a smaller percentage, but like I said, you get into a point of the longer the CD is, the better your percentage rate of interest is gonna be. The only problem being, if you ever need to liquidate any of that cash in order to survive, you're gonna pay the price.
You gotta wait
So-
till the CD.
So if we get a hold of Arvis and maybe shuffle around,
Well, that's what.
whatever we
they're
have to
doing
shuffle
I was
around.
gonna say
And you said that they try to do that, and watch out for us.
Yeah, that's
and-
what
and
we
I
pay them
trust-
to speak for.
Yeah,
And
and,
they're professionals in that.
Well, and for the most part, you're trying, you can't hold them accountable for our losses.
yes, I understand.
You know, that
Just the way
it's
that-
part of the game.
Yeah, part of the market.
You know, it's the same way of saying it's Kay's fault if I go spend $100 at the casino and lose every penny of it and then some. She had no say other than, you know, giving me my allowance to go in. So Arvest is trying their best to make sure we're diversified,
Mhm.
making sure that we're trying to make as much as we can on our original investment.
Who contacts them? Who's in contact with them? You?
I also am.
Also, are you in contact with them, or just whoever?
I don't regularly contact them, but I can, when I choose, and
Yeah,
also
whenever you need
to
to,
invite
yeah.
them to come and present to us.
I'm not gonna do anything without the direction of this trust board.
Oh, of course not.
But that's just my.
I mean, I'll talk to them, find out whatever you wanna know.
Ain't gonna lose, the way I see it.
But we're in it for the long haul, not just a year.
We've been losing,
Not just
gonna
5 years.
lose.
Well, you're looking
Losing
at
and
2017, we made money.
Yeah,
There was over 300,000 we
we
made.
lost.
308, but
We lost.
Yeah, in
It's all gone
2018,
down.
You've
You lost
lost some.
everything, you lost it all in 217.
And if you
Plus
do a
some.
comparison between those
Plus
two
some.
years, we're
Yeah,
only down
plus some.
$24,000. That's not a lot off of a $4 million investment.
If you start from the very days we first put money with Arvest Asset Management, you know, it isn't just straight up. it's,
Yeah,
you know,
I seen that,
up.
I seen
But
their,
the general trend has been up.
yeah, I seen their graphic.
At
It
one
went,
time,
it went up good, then now where it is.
I'm not gonna mention any names, but under a different administration, at one time, our trust funds were down to 3.2 million. I'm not gonna mention any names.
Was that before this trust document was passed?
No, that was after.
How could it be allowed to drop that low?
It did.
They didn't have you.
Oh.
They didn't have you watch over. Not like that.
Well, thank you, John.
The trust board said we didn't let it go below 3.8. The bank did.
Oh,
That was their
Excuse.
comment. The stock market did. We didn't let it go below 3.8, the stock market did.
well, unless there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second on that?
One other thing.
Oh, I guess we're.
Leslie, if you'll find out what we approved on the education committee from Alan, and add that on to your figure you've got for the tribal council Saturday. If we get to have a tribal council meeting, looks like we may be covered up to Scott.
Jake is there too.
But we'll get that covered also.
Okay?
I think it was $450 is all we approved.
Okay. I would need to state that it needs to be two separates, because the first that we put in and what we're covering for 2018 goes in 2018's audit.
Yeah, this would be for
So for
2019.
2019, I need to make sure that it's distinguished that way in order to properly book it for
Okay.
audit purposes.
Okay.
Okay, I have a motion by Homer to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 3:49.